Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday edition of 5 Minutes with Phil. Thank you for joining me here on this day. And before I go any further, can I remind those of you who are Facebook users that we have a Facebook page which is devoted entirely to nothing but 5 Minutes with Phil. And on that page, you can follow the page, you can engage with the videos. You could share the videos with other people on Facebook. It's that easy. And if you're able to use that page to bless somebody else, or if that's a personal blessing to you, I think that's a huge win for us. So thanks for giving us that opportunity. Now, let's go to a passage of scripture from the book of Isaiah that I don't know about you, but I have to be reminded of this verse over and over and over again in my relationship with God. And it's found in the book of Isaiah chapter 55. Take a look at this, would you? We're going to start in verse 8. We're going to go to verse 9. It says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Have you ever found yourself thinking this way? Okay, well, how could God do that? Because I wouldn't do that. Or why would a God who loves me? And then you fill in the blank with whatever that is. And you know what's interesting is that when we do that, we are actually guilty. I'm actually guilty when I do that, of trying to think of God in my own terminology, my own box. I'm trying to think of him like I would think of myself. If I wouldn't do something, then of course God wouldn't do something. If I wouldn't let something happen, then of course God wouldn't let something happen. And I say these things, and I try to convince myself of these things. If I were God, I would do it this way. And you know what happens when we do that? We kind of get ourselves in trouble because we have this idea that God thinks like us. And that is a huge lowering of the greatness of God. Because when I read these two verses that I just read for you from Isaiah, I am reminded that my thoughts are not even close to God's thoughts. And my ways are not even close to God's ways. And where I can experience a ton of frustration in my spiritual journey, in my relationship with God, is when I get caught trying to attribute human emotion and human means and human rationale to a supernatural God. And plain and simple, I might be saying, well, I wouldn't do it that way. Well, guess what? I'm not God. And neither are you. And when we start thinking that God has to think like we do, that's where it gets dangerous. And some will use that as an occasion, or at least an excuse, to walk away from God because, well, God's not meeting my expectations. And I'm going to beg you today, that those of you who are watching and listening to this, I'm going to beg you to please avoid that, because the Lord would say, hey, look, okay, maybe you don't get it right now, and maybe you don't understand things right now, but my ways are way higher than yours, and my thoughts are way higher than yours. So you can understand what God's doing. We can't. If you can figure God out, he's really not God anymore, is he? And so I would almost beg you today, to remember this verse and to know that God's got it under control and that God's ways are higher than ours. His thoughts are higher than ours. God's got this. He knows what he's doing. And all I need to do is trust him and serve him and obey him. And I hope that challenges you today. All right, gotta let you go. Thanks for joining me. We love you. God bless you. And Lord willing, we'll see you again next time, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.